What's up guys, and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at another fundamental principle within After Effects. It's called rotoscoping. I use this a lot within our Magnates Media videos, and it's just another tool that you can hang on your tool belt that will help you create some really cool graphics and animations. So let's have a quick look at what rotoscoping is, and let's have a look at what we're going to create. So rotoscoping is a technique that we use to cut moving images to cut the subjects out of our videos. This could be to put a background in, to add effects, or to add any manner of additional layering into the shot. It essentially does what a green screen does, but in a situation where we don't have access to a green screen. I've got some footage that I've just found on ArtGrid. I'm going to drag it into After Effects. Great, and here it is. Let's have a quick look at it. Lovely. I'm going to drag it straight into my Make New Composition window. I'm only going to want to use a bit of it. Let's use this bit where the camera is moving. That would be nice. Okay, cool. So let's press Command K or Control K on a PC. I'm going to make the start time code 0. I'm going to make this 4 seconds. Doesn't need to be super long. So this is our shot. We have a lady looking at the camera. She kind of moves across, and then the camera follows her. So I'm going to double click our layer. Lovely. I'm going to hit Alt W, and it'll bring up this brush. And I'm going to just draw pretty loosely just around our friend here. Let's see what it does. And as you can see, After Effects will draw around an edge around her. As you can see, it's done a pretty good job. There's a few missing areas, just like next to this and on her ear and her earring. I'm going to collect that. This brush might be a little bit too big to add this in. So I'm going to press Control. I'm going to hold Control, and I'm going to move my mouse to the left, and it just makes the brush a little bit smaller. So let's color that in. There we go. I think that'll do. There's one more thing I'm going to do. I'm going to hit Alt W again. I'm going to make my brush a bit bigger by holding Control and moving my mouse to the right. And I'm going to use this blue brush here, which is essentially just telling After Effects that this area, that some area, I'm basically telling After Effects that some areas may need a little bit more processing time, or there may be a little bit more. It may be less defined areas that are cut, like need to be cut round. For instance, hair, because hair can be, it can be difficult to discern the line between where the hair ends and say the background starts. So this brush is usually quite useful for that. And also here where the drop off is due to the drop off due to the aperture of the lens. I think that could do with a bit of extra. A bit extra thought as well. So I'll just draw around her hair as well. And there we go. So we've got ourselves a pretty decent cutout. That's only for one frame so far though. So I'm going to go to my layer panel and see this here, this bar along the bottom. This is going to be where the After Effects works out the rest of the frames for the rotoscope. And the idea is when we press play, After Effects is going to use the information you've given on this one frame and apply it to all the successive frames. And in theory, it should do a pretty good job and basically cut out our subject from the background. So I don't need to propagate this whole area because I'm only doing 4 seconds of the shot. So let's find my edges of the shot. Let's do that. Go to the end, and then let's move that in there. So I'm just grabbing each end of the propagation bar, just so I can ensure that I'm only propagating the areas of the image that I'm actually going to use. So back to the first frame, and now it really is a matter of pressing play. So let's see how it does. That's doing a pretty good job. And what I can do is if something looks like it's not doing such a good job, if it kind of if the roto kind of starts to grab things in the background, or we lose part of the subject, we can pause our video, we can hit Alt W, go back to our roto brush, and we can just add in the bits that we want or don't want to rotoscope to pick up. If it's a really difficult track, I'd recommend doing frame by frame analysis. So you do one frame, check it, move on, one frame, check it. But this is doing a really good job, so I'm just going to let After Effects do its thing, really. Now After Effects has finished its job with the roto. It looks pretty good to me. I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do, this isn't finished yet. What I have to do is I need to click this freeze button. As soon as you click freeze, you're telling After Effects you're happy with the roto, and that you don't need After Effects to be continuously working out where the edges of your subject are. So we'll click freeze, and we'll get that to freeze the video. It'll take a couple of minutes, depending on how good your computer is, but I'll just let this finish, and I'll catch back up with you guys in a few minutes. Okay then, guys. So now After Effects has finished freezing the image. Let's have a look what we got. Go back to our composition, and as you can see, that has done a pretty good job. Yeah, pretty happy with that. We can do a few things to kind of help the mask out a little bit more. I can go up to our effects panel, and you've got a range of feathers, contrasts, shifting the edge, and reducing chatter that we can use to kind of help the rotoscope along. So we're just going to feather things just a little bit. Feathering always seems to help things out a little bit. Put that down to 25, I think. Great. I might shift the edges in, maybe by -5. Perfect. And this chatter effect, basically the way the rotoscope tool kind of works, it will kind of, each and every frame will try and grab the edges of the subject. Sometimes it means there might be some like larger discrepancies between where it thinks the subject is in one shot and where it is in the next shot. So you get kind of this weird kind of like digital flickery kind of look on some rotoscopes. So reducing chatter will help reduce that, but it will also make the mask a little bit softer, so it really is about a balancing act. On this particular occasion, I don't think I really need that. There might be a little bit of chatter down here where her shoulder is, but it doesn't look too bad. See, you can see a little bit of it, but I think it's probably all right. Maybe I'll add it to my, I'll go to my Refine Edge Mat, which is our blue brush that we use. As you can see here, it looks a little bit different as it does around the hair than compared to, say, the edge of her neck. So there's a little bit of chatter on that one. So I'm going to go... I'm going to go to the drop down and press smooth. I do recommend playing the your rotoscope effects back in full quality, just because it can be difficult in quarter quality or half quality to really see the edges of your subject, and you may well be think your mask is worse or better than it actually is. So I know it can be a little bit tough in your computers, but I would recommend playing back in full quality on rotoscope effects, at least until you know that your roto is sufficient for what you need it for. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the layer, I'm going to duplicate it. And on the bottom layer, I'm going to take off our rose brush effect. And as you can see, nothing has changed. It looks exactly the same as when we first got it. I will probably reduce the quality of the render now, just because I don't need to check up on the rotoscope. So nothing has changed. But what I can do is now I've cut out my lady in the background, in the foreground, so I can start putting stuff behind her. And what's really impactful here is I can start adding animations behind her. So what I'm going to do is I've grabbed this ink layer and I brought it into After Effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this I'm going to go to my background layer, which I should probably change the name of. I'll call it background. Background. Let's go to our foreground and go foreground. And now let's go to our background layer and let's go to track mats and let's go ink. And let's change it to a Luma matte. And now, look at that. So there we go, guys. That is how you do a rotoscope. It's a pretty simple principle. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of tweaking, and you can obviously find some pretty difficult circumstances where you might want to do a rotoscope, but it's incredibly useful and versatile and can be used all throughout your animations and your projects. So with that in mind, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.